Good evening to everyone. We will talk today about project-based learning, STEAME project-based learning. An outline of our webinar you can see here in this slide. We will say some words about what is project-based learning, why we should use project-based learning in our teaching practice, the key characteristic of project-based learning, project-based learning in comparison with other teaching approaches, how to implement project-based learning, challenges in implementing project-based learning, what are the benefits for our students when we apply project-based learning in our teaching practice, teachers' role in project-based learning, and how we assess the learning goals in project-based learning, and some examples of project-based learning from our previous, mainly from our previous project, STEAME. And as a last point to our outline, what is your experience with project-based learning and impressions, if any experience? And then we can have questions about the presentation. Well, project-based learning, you see, is a teaching or learning method in which students learn by actively engaging in real-world and personally meaningful projects. Students acquire knowledge and skills by doing some investigation in the real problem we set to them, and they have to respond to complex questions or challenges. And this teaching approach is focusing on critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity. Why we have to use project-based learning? Why we have to move from traditional teaching to project-based learning? Let's see some reasons to make this shift. Aligns project-based learning, this teaching approach aligns with 21st century skills like critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, communication. And these skills are very important. And knowledge is also very important, but these skills are becoming more and more important in the abilities that a new citizen must have to address the real world problems. Why we have to use project-based learning? You see here a graph about the growth of jobs, and you see that the STEM jobs are raising more faster, are growth more faster than other jobs, and we have to prepare our students for these needs of the society. And this research says that when students are involved in project-based learning, we have more deeper learning with the implementation of various projects, which are more interesting for students, and they are getting involved and more engaged to this learning, let's say, strategy. The key characteristics of project-based learning, we will discuss it a little further in this topic. We must have a driving question, which causes the curiosity of our students, and that's why this driving question must be must be addressed real world problems. And students by inquiry have to search for a solution to this problem. They have to choose the way that they will address this problem. We're giving them reflection about in every stage of their investigations. And finally, we can have the final assessment and maybe the revision of the results. These characteristics of project-based learning are very important. It's student-centered. That means that students take ownership of their learning. There is a connection with a real world. And this is more engaging for students if they have to deal with real world problems that are interested for them. It's inquiry based. The driving question must be born the inquiry into the students. We have collaboration. It's a very important characteristic of project-based learning. And we have to make in a regular base reflection to their learning process. One picture about characteristic of project-based learning, you see these main characteristics. I will not repeat them. And let's see why we have to, how we compare project-based learning with other teaching approaches. You see that comparing with traditional learning, we have very important differences. Usually traditional learning is it's a short-term and comprehensive. And on the other hand, project-based learning is a long-term, let's say, activity or period. Usually, traditional learning is focused on is based, let's say, better in a single subject, while project-based learning is usually multidisciplinary, because to address real-world problems, you have to get knowledges and skills from various sciences. Students will find the solution of a problem or of a situation with the help of the instructors. While in project-based learning, they will search by themselves and they will make a product, event, or presentation to present their results. And usually we have in traditional learning a review by the instructor at the end, although we also can have formative assessment during the instruction and in traditional learning. But in project-based learning, we have to have regular checks and peer interactions. Let's see what is project. This is a very, let's say, important question to answer. What is the difference between projects, doing projects, and project-based learning? Usually, many of us can confuse these two approaches. Usually, doing projects in the class or in a lesson is something additional to the traditional instruction, over and above our instruction. While project-based learning is the instruction integrated into the project. It means that students here in the project-based learning are, let's say, learning the curriculum or covering the curriculum, I don't know how to say it, through their involvement in the projects, while in a traditional project, this is over and above the curriculum and maybe not relevant to the curriculum. Here in traditional project, usually students follow the directions of the teacher, what to do, how to do it. While in project-based learning, students have to build their own road to the solution of the problem. Here in traditional projects, we focused on the product, while in PBL, we focused on both on product and the processes that are run. And I mentioned that before, that maybe project is related to curriculum, to skills we have to cultivate to our students, while project-based learning is aligned with our curriculum, the skills we want to appear to our students. The project can be done by one student alone or in the class or at home, while project-based learning is, let's say, it's necessary to have a group working on this project. Okay, and this is how we present our results. Usually projects are remain in the schoolwork, usually in the classroom, while in the project-based learning, since the problem is relevant to the real world problem, maybe it's relevant to some problems that the school faced, can be addressed to the school or to the society where the school is. And some distinction between project-based learning and problem-based learning. And you see some difference here. Often project-based learning is multi-subject, interdisciplinary, while problem-based learning is more often a single subject. The length of in time is different for the two kinds of approaches. And I would like to say that project-based learning may be included in some stages problem-based learning, and not we can state the opposite. Is more in general the project-based learning, and we have real-world problems in project-based learning, while problem-based learning can be more, let's say, fictitious scenarios as illustrated problems to be addressed by the students. The steps for implementing project-based learning. We have the launch of the project. We introduce to our students the challenge or driving question. Students research, plan the project, research, brainstorm, and plan their approach. They develop and revise, they create drafts, collaborate, are doing some investigations, some actions, and they receive from the teachers feedback. They present their project with an audience, maybe classmates, maybe community experts, and they get some feedback from the presentation, and they can change their final product, and we have the assessment of the final product. Challenges. Let me see if I can hide this one. Challenges in implementing project-based learning. Here are some challenges. Time consuming to plan and execute. This is a very serious problem, at least at schools in Cyprus. Our teachers have to cover a very big amount of a very big curriculum, and this maybe sometimes let's say is not very helpful for applying project-based learning in their teaching approach. Assessment can be complex because we have to assess their group work and individual work in every group, and we have to make some rubrics for both these assessments. We have to make a shift as teachers from our, let's say, usual role as transporters of knowledge to facilitators of knowledge and learning for our students. And classroom management, but maybe it will be maybe sometimes more challenging than usual. Although sometimes working in groups is more easy to manage the class. And I have some more questions here. If you have any more difficult, if you have any challenge in mind, we can hear it. If any one of you want to write something in the chat or say something about these challenges. What are more challenges in implementing project-based learning?
George, maybe they can hold these ideas at the end, and they can put at the end. So complete your
Let's continue.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's continue. What are the strategies to address these project-based learning challenges? We have to provide clear rubrics and assessment criteria before we start the project. We can use tools and resources to manage projects effectively. Let's say technology, online, let's say repositories, online meetings, checklist to have the opportunity to see the work of every group and give feedback to them. We have to learn our students how to work in groups, how to collaborate, how to communicate their findings. With technology nowadays, this is very, let's say, easy, but they have to learn it and try it. And we have to give regular feedback and support to guide students through the process. Despite all these challenges, it's worth to implement project-based learning because we have some benefits for our students, some important benefits. This is our main goal as teachers. And the project-based learning approach enhances the engagement. This is very important. It's the research, educational research says that if students are engaged, the results of their learning are better, and the motivation is very important for this. The collaboration. They have to collaborate in every job nowadays, in our world, in our societies. We have to collaborate. And this skill is very important, and we have to, let's say, develop it. So we have to give opportunities for our students to collaborate. And project-based learning is a very good opportunity for this. We have to cultivate critical thinking, problem solving, and this is encourages independent inquiry. These skills, critical thinking, problem solving, is something that our students will apply to our life, to their lives, to the problems that appear in their lives, which will be irrelevant to our subject, but are very important to their lives. And they are learning how to learn, and personalized learning. The teacher's role, our role in project-based learning, we have to shift from knowledge provider to coach and facilitator of the learning. We have to guide students in their inquiry and support the development of skills. And we have to provide the structure and scaffolding where is needed, but not take the autonomy from our students. They have to have their autonomy to choose their, to plan their work and implement it. But we have to give, of course, feedback if something goes wrong. And for assessing project-based learning, we have to use both formative and summative final assessments. Usually we use some for final assessment. There are various rubrics which have to be known to our students from the beginning. We have to assess the individual contributions of our students and the group outcomes. And we have to evaluate not just knowledge, but also skills. Let's say, like creativity, argumentation, problem solving, etc. And some examples of project-based learning. Here is the previous project, the STEAME project. Here is the STEAME Teacher Academy. In STEAME, we had a lot of learning and creativity plans, and in every plan, the approach was in almost in every plan. The teaching approach was project-based learning, and we are preparing also for STEAME Teacher Academy more plans. Let's see some examples from here. If we go to the STEAME website, we have the observatory here. And in the observatory, we have learning and creativity activities for 2 different kinds of ages of students. Grade 7, 9 here. I will choose just the 1, 2. Choose the one we had prepared with my colleague here in Pedagogical Institute, Eleni Papageorgiou. I will show just the first page here. The title here is a Smart Village on the Mountain Slope. We have the problem of electricity and how we can have more electricity and without using, let's say, gas or petrol. One idea was to build a dam in the mountains and using energy from sun to collect water up there, and when it's night or there is no sunshine, we can use this water to product hydroelectric, using a hydroelectric generator, produce electricity. This is an idea that was proposed some years ago here in Cyprus, because we have a lot of sun, but what about night? And this is a real world problem for Cyprus, how to collect energy and store energy, so you can use it in times that there is no sunshine. One more plan, one more project, and it's about a glass of hot chocolate. It's about a school, let's say a school bazaar, to collect money to help poor students. And you can see here the driving question, which glass should I choose for hot chocolate? What is the most advantageous option, and how much we will have to sell a glass of hot chocolate to make a satisfactory profit. It's a STEAME project. It means that it involves a lot of subjects. Here you see the subjects that are involved. The plan describes the cooperation between these teachers, and it was very interesting seeing how the students in a summer school were implementing this project, and they really get involved and make a very, let's say, clever. They found clever solutions to our questions. Okay, I will go back to the presentation. And the two final slides are your experience with project-based learning, together with questions. We can see one more project if there are no questions, more specific. Yeah. We'll show one of our learning and creativity plans that we prepared for STEAME Teachers Academy. Yes, okay. This is a learning and creativity plan about a mission to Mars. It's a question that is widely discussed in public, because in some moment we have to, humanity have to leave Earth and move to some other planet. And the driving question is that, is the colonization of Mars a science fiction or an achievable goal? Is it a necessity or a necessary luxury? And let me show you not the synopsis, but the teachers' cooperation. We have physics teacher, mathematics teacher, biology, technology, computer science, chemistry, art. And where we have the action plan of implementation of this project-based learning. We have the stage 1, why we will have to leave Earth and where we can go. And this can be started by the biology teacher with a discussion about the future of the humanity in the Earth with the climate crisis and wars and so on. And in the physics class, we can discuss why Mars may be a possible place for humanity to move. In the art class, the students make a poster with what they have discussed in the biology and physics classes. In math, students learn about number systems and the binary code they will need it in the next stages. And in computer science, they can learn about the graphing software and binary code. Also, they will be needed in stages 2 and 3. In stage 2, the question is how we can leave Earth and how we can land on Mars. And this is helpful for physics to study the motion of a rocket or a parachute. We have video analysis software to track these motions and make some observations about the graphs, the kind of motion we have. And in the technology class, they can build their own rockets, model rockets and parachutes, and they can try them and find the best one. In chemistry, they can deal with the fuel used in a real rocket, why we use these fuels. Stage 3, where we will live in Mars and how we will ensure the materials necessary for life. Students all discuss, we can give this question from the beginning, and students have to find answers in these questions with the help of teachers in maths, chemistry, and so on. And finally, they have to, the final product is here, presentation of the work. They present their work with the project deliverables, poster, the initial poster about why we have to leave Earth and why we have to choose Mars. The rocket motion analysis video, the parachute with an encrypted message in binary code, the base model and Tsalakos, and answer questions from the other students. This is the main idea of the project, and this are the learning goals. You can see here several learning goals, and these are not taught by the teacher in their class, but are learned by the students with the help of teachers where is needed.